Hello, students. Today we are discussing Chapter 13, which is about the New Deal. So we learned in Chapter 12 that the Great Depression had hit, starting the major event being in 1929 with the stock market crash, and that Herbert Hoover believed in a very hands-off approach. He believed in localism and didn't do a whole lot to force the government to help the people. The people did not respond to that. The people wanted somebody that would step in, swoop in, and rescue them and help them, a strong leader. And the man that they turned to for that was, in 1932, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, which, yes, is a fifth cousin to Teddy Roosevelt. He's from New York, and he was raised in an extremely wealthy family. In 1921, he contracted polio and never recovered the full use of his legs. A lot of people say that this is where he got his overwhelming drive and desire to conquer and win and be successful, was struggling to live his life and to excel with this kind of debilitating illness. In 1932, FDR, like I said, won the election. And his plan that he had for America, he called the New Deal. If you remember, his cousin Teddy Roosevelt, when he was president, had the Square Deal, which was to restore the government's trust-busting power and fight the corporations that were taking advantage of the working man. FDR has the New Deal. He also gathered a very intelligent and capable group of advisors that became known as the Brain Trust. They were known as such because they were experts in their fields. They knew what they were talking about. Very highly respected people. The first 100 days is the nickname given to FDR's first 100 days in office, and it was basically a whirlwind of activity. During this time, FDR had 15 major bills passed through Congress to help us get out of the Great Depression. This activity is known as the first New Deal. These 15 major bills passed to help us get out of the Depression. And again, the nickname for that is FDR's first 100 days in office is, quote unquote, the 100 days. He also started using radio as a way to promote his policies and as a way to gain popularity and as a way to comfort the American people. He started using these radio addresses that were known as Fireside chats. These Fireside chats is where FDR would sit down and talk openly about America's problems, and people would feel like he was sitting right in the living room with them, talking about problems, reassuring them, telling them that the government cared for them and that the government was going to help them out. This reassured the American people. It made them more confident in their government. So let's talk about some of these New Deal reforms. We're going to start out with the FDIC, or the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. The next time you drive with your parents to the bank, you can look at the window, and there will probably be a sticker that says FDIC. That's because that's still in effect today. Basically, the government will insure your money that you deposit in the bank up to $100,000. This is in response to the Great Depression, where there was a run on the banks, if you recall from the last chapter, and people withdrew all their money from the bank. And so when others went to the bank, their money wasn't there. It was already gone. The banks had already handed out what they had. So this gave people confidence in the banks. It told people they could put their money in the banks again, that if something happened, the government would be there to bail them out and to help them. We also had something for farmers called the AAA, or Agricultural Adjustment Act. This was financial aid for farmers. Remember that 25% of our workforce was farmers, and they were not doing well during this time, so this helped them out. The TVA, or Tennessee Valley Authority, provided help for people living in the Tennessee Valley. This, at the time, was the poorest region in the entire country. So this program brought electricity to homes, public works projects, education projects, and so forth to help people there. We also had the CCC, or Civilian Conservation Corps. This was aimed at helping young men. They basically traveled the country from place to place, and they worked on outdoor public works projects such as replanting forests, digging ditches, and fighting fires. This was very appealing to young men who didn't have any money, didn't have any way to get ahead in life. They could travel the country and do these types of things. It was exciting and a way for them to make money. Also, the PWA, or Public Works Administration, they built bridges, dams, and power plants. And if you drive around in this area, you can see many stamps in the side of concrete bridges and other works that say PWA. There were a lot of those projects built around here. Now, not everybody loved Roosevelt. Roosevelt had his enemies, and here is a list of them. Three men and one organization that were the most prominent. We have the Liberty League. These were groups of Democrats. Now remember, FDR was a Democrat, but these are groups of Democrats or people within his own party that banded together to oppose what Roosevelt was doing. And the reason why is he was promoting things that had never been done. He wanted the government to step in a way that they had never stepped in before. And not everybody liked that. They didn't like such a fundamental change in America. We also had Francis Townsend. He was a man that said that government should give every citizen $200 to spend how they please. He wanted to see the money go straight to the people and not in all of these New Deal programs. Charles Coughlin was a Roman Catholic priest that spent the entire part of this section of his career trying to take down FDR. He had a very, very popular radio show that he would use to basically explain to the people how FDR was bad for the country and how he was taking us down the wrong path, and he became known as the radio priest. That was his nickname. And then we have Huey P. Long, known as the Kingfish. He was basically the king of Louisiana for a time. He was the most serious threat to FDR's presidency. At one time, he was the governor and senator of the state of Louisiana. This, when he tried to do this, was not legal. So he used his influence to get Louisiana to change their law so that he could be both governor and senator of Louisiana at the same time. He created a Share Our Wealth program, which was another way to redistribute wealth, and again, the most serious threat to FDR. And this is going to end the first section of our recording. Thank you very much for watching.